Yeah, let me see. My Hero Academia. I'm caught up with everything now. So I think season 7 is supposed to be the last one, right?
And I know they came out with the spinoff My Hero Academia Vigilantes.
Oh, that I, that I didn't know about. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
go
didn't either.
check
I found that out. I found that out on TikTok. It's like My Hero Academia Vigilantes is like I think it takes place after. I'm not sure when it takes place, but yeah, it's a spinoff to My Hero Academia.
out. Okay. Definitely gonna check that out. I'm adding that to the list. I already mentioned JoJo. I've also watched and finished. Excuse me, started and finished Attack on Titan. So finished that one. That was amazing.
How's everyone? Wayne known here, and welcome back to another episode of Geeking Out, where we basically discuss everything nerdy geek related. I'm joined here by Smoove Cosplay, who you may have seen on Geeking Out a few times and on Cosplay Con Talk. It's been a while since he's been on here, so we're gonna be doing an update podcast thing, basically talk about all the nerd and geek stuff he's been up to recently. Myron, thanks for coming back on, man. I know it's been a while.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me. As always, man. I'm glad to be here, man.
So basically, this segment, what I've been up to, is like basically said talk all the nerdy, geeky stuff you've been into, like movies, seen, TV shows you're currently watching, any video games you've been playing, books you've been reading, comic books, events you've been going to for the past year and everything. So I guess to begin, what you been up to, man?
Let's see. Well, first of all, since we last spoke, I moved. I've actually been. We rented a house. We I've been here about a year and a half now. We signed a year and a half lease. I think we're about to renew, and gotta finally have a man cave again. This is the danger room, as I've called it. Being a big X-Men fan, so got basically my wife has always been very supportive of all my geeky shit, but she's like, whenever we get a chance, all that stuff needs to be out of the living room. So that's where we're at now. So we got the bucket collection back there, all the X-Men comics, a couple of GI Joe figures up there. They're kind of hidden by the angle of the shelf and all of that. Um, but yeah, I'll turn everything around in a little while. I'll show you. But the Transformers are over there. The flat screen and the PS5 are over there. I got a Buster Sword over there in the corner. So yeah,
Nice.
so first big geeky thing, got just being able to get all of that stuff in one space. So that. What other geeky stuff? What else has happened? Let's see. Have you been watching Daredevil Born Again?
I have not. I imagine that I've seen ads for that every now and again. I take it you've been watching that. I take it I've yet to watch anything Daredevil. The only last time I ever watched anything Daredevil related was the movie that came out like over 20 years ago.
Oh, the Ben Affleck,
Yeah, I Ben Affleck
Jennifer
one.
Garner.
I tried watching the Netflix one and I couldn't get into it. I'll have to give it a shot. But I take it you've been watching the new Daredevil.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Yeah, the finale was last night. It was pretty dope. I'm not gonna give any spoilers on it, obviously. Only thing I will say is this: I was surprised at certain things that they did. I'm like, am I still watching Disney? Is it still on Disney somehow? So that's all I'll say on that. But it was pretty good. Like I wasn't blown away, but it was enough to where like I need to watch the show. Sometimes like a show will come out, like an episode will come out, and you feel like, oh, I'll get to it when I get to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was one of the ones where I'm like, okay, I can't let more than a day go by before I watch it, right? So that's again not super blown away, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, imagine it was like I remember it's so weird seeing how it was originally like, that one Jessica Jones and Luke Cage were originally on Netflix. Now they're like, now that Disney owns Marvel, it's like
Yeah,
it's all going to Disney Plus now.
yeah, and I think I mean they continued Daredevil at least from the Netflix series. So like it picked up right back where it left off. So I'm hoping they pick up some of the other ones. I mean, I know a lot of people don't really care too much about, or at least people I know weren't too thrilled about Iron Fist, but like bringing back Jessica Jones, bringing back Luke Cage. I'm like, I need more of that. Yeah, yeah. Luke Cage was one that like I sometimes like my wife will watch stuff with me. She's like, okay, are you going to make me watch this with you? But uh, Luke Cage was one like she was actually invested in that one, like for like the music, the social commentary of it all, and all of that. So I would of course love if they brought that one back. Um, so yeah, that about a year ago, X-Men '97, of course. That man, uh, I was cautiously excited to hear that it was coming out, but then and I got a little worried when I realized they were bringing most of the cast back, but some of the voice actors were given different roles, and somebody else was coming in to be the character that they vacated. But once the show started, I totally forgot about all of that. Like Magneto had a new voice actor. I first heard the difference, but then I was like, I barely noticed. Same thing with Gambit. Like Gambit has a new actor. Heard him initially, and I'm like, but then as the series went on, I'm like, okay, this is Gambit. Cool. Cyclops' actor. I already like because he's passed away. Rest in peace. I forget his name, but rest in peace to the original Cyclops voice actor. You know, he both him and the I think the original cast did the voices for like X-Men versus Street Fighter, X-Men Children of the Atom, all that kind
Hmm.
of stuff. So like that voice is iconic. Had I not known that he had a different actor, I never like that one was seamless. Like I would not have had they not told me that it was a different actor, I wouldn't have noticed. The other ones I noticed, but I didn't care.
I
Like it
mean, I
was
know like Rogue's original voice actor came back to voice Rogue, from what
yeah,
I've heard and seen.
with her I'm forgetting all their names now. Like had
Uh,
if it wasn't on camera, I would remember. Um,
I could
and
always look it up and put in the
yeah,
edit and post.
with Rogue and Wolverine's voice actors, similar to Peter Cullen with Optimus Prime, you can tell they're older, right? I
Oh
mean, and
yeah.
there's no knock to them. I mean, yes, like 20 years have passed, right? So like that's to be expected. Like you can, it's still them. They still do a damn good job, but like you can tell like it's an older voice.
Oh yeah.
That's more. I'm just stating fact. That's not a bad thing. Like props to them. They are. Um, Cal Dodd is Wolverine, or at least animated Wolverine. Um, Let me backtrack on that because that's he is animated Wolverine, but that's not a knock to. There's some other guys who've done it. I think I forget the guy who did
Steve
Wolverine.
Bloom did it. Steve
Yes,
Bloom did it
that's
for
what
a
that's
while.
something though. Steve Bloom did a
Yeah.
great Wolverine. Um, this is really bugging me because this is one of my favorite voice actors, and I can't remember his name right now. Steve McNeil. Steve McNeil. He did X-Men Evolution's Wolverine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I didn't know the guy's name at the time, but I could tell it was him because he did Duo Maxwell from Gundam Wing, Ken Masters, and that garbage USA version of Street Fighter. um, Sorry, I would say garbage because they Americanized it. You know, reused the main character, but of course they had to make Guile the main character because it's on USA.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
he's did crap ton of voices on Beast Wars, Dinobot, Silverbolt, um, Rat Trap, even Waspinator. He did all of those voices. Um, the original Ocean Dub of Dragon Ball Z, he did Piccolo. So he's done a
uh,
lot of different voices. So like before I knew who he was my favorite voice actor because I could pick that voice out of so many different characters. But yeah, so he did an amazing Wolverine too. So I'm like, I don't want to diminish their value as Wolverines, but like when I think of Wolverine, when I think of an animated Wolverine, I think of Cal Dodd. So yeah, him and Lenore Zan, I think is Rogue's voice. Allison Seeley Smith, even though I found out recently she wasn't the original Storm. Like she's the Storm that we hear when we first, like if you go back and watch the original cartoon now, she is that voice that you hear, but they had to
Mm-hmm.
go back and redo it due to some like um I think all of the actors were Canadian voice actors, and something to the effect of like I think the original Storm wasn't one of those, and like it was something with the not licensing, it's something else.
I wouldn't know.
When you keep getting paid for something over and over again, the residuals, I think I'm probably getting it somewhat wrong,
Yeah,
but they had to replace that
residuals or
actress.
royalties or something like that.
Royalties, yes, yes. So I think they had to replace her because it wasn't matching up with everybody else's. So Allison Seeley Smith was that's the one we know of, but we just don't know of the ones that got replaced before her.
No,
But, but yeah, it was a great show. I loved it. I cried twice during the fifth episode, and that saying a lot because my tear ducts just started working again in the past few years. Um, so yeah, that it was an amazing show. I loved it.
It seems like you both enjoyed both, but both being Marvel shows with iconic characters. It seems like
Yeah,
you've enjoyed. Have you watched any like non-Marvel TV shows or even like anime recently
anime. Yes,
in like the past year and counting this year?
yeah. I think right when right when we moved into this house, I was wrapping up JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Nice.
So that one was great. That's one of my when I loosely say favorites because I really haven't watched that many anime.
Hey,
Like
no, that's hey, that I don't. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't
yeah,
judge. Like I don't watch as much. I don't watch as much as I used to back in the day.
yeah. Let me see. Dragon Ball Z, which was actually wasn't my favorite, my wasn't my first. Robotech was my first. Robotech, Ronin Warriors, then Dragon Ball Z, um, Gundam Wing. I don't think I'm going to run out of fingers before I get to the end. That's how few. Let's see.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with the classics either. And
Yeah. Let me see. My Hero Academia. I'm caught up with everything now. So I think season 7 is supposed to be the last one, right?
I know they came out with the spinoff My Hero Academia Vigilantes.
Oh, that I, that I didn't know about. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
go.
didn't either. I found that out. I found that out on TikTok. It's like My Hero Academia Vigilantes is like I think it takes place after. I'm not sure when it takes place, but yeah, it's a new my it's a spinoff to My Hero Academia.
Okay, okay. Definitely gonna check that out. Adding that to the list. I already mentioned JoJo. I've also watched and finished. Excuse me, started and finished Attack on Titan. So finished that one. That was amazing. That is so layered and deep and like if propaganda was a show,
I mean,
like
I hate to say it, but you're not wrong.
that was wow. So that one, and it's funny, I had the end spoiled for me. Like what got me into it was spoiler alert for those who have not watched it. The first character who I like, the character that I recognized before I recognized anybody else is Hanji. Um, there's a cosplayer who I follow. Of course, of course, I forget her name now that I'm trying to think of her. Um, her name, first name is Kay. Her last name starts with an L. I can't pronounce it. I can't pronounce it without looking at it. But she's a dancer as well, so she has like a whole dance troupe of cosplayers who do like hip hop and modern and all of that. So she does a cosplay of Hanji, and the first time I ever saw Hanji and knew who she was, it was her doing a solo routine to Jason Derulo's "Talk Dirty to Me." So like, and she, when I think of Hanji, I think of her. Like that. That's basically like she's like imprinted on me as Hanji, basically. So one day I'm scrolling through YouTube and I see a thumbnail of Hanji on fire, and I'm like, what? I mean, I've always heard of Attack on Titan. I've heard of, oh, the final part of the final season is coming up, and it's been like years since the first part of it came, and all that kind of stuff. So I see this thumbnail, so I'm like, okay, let me go look. And just seeing her death scene like drew me in. So now I'm like, okay, now I'm going back to the start and going all the way through. So I had that much
like,
spoiled already.
no, I gotta watch. I gotta watch this from the beginning now. I don't want to. Like, I know it's gonna happen, but like, I gotta find out what leads up to this type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, and it wasn't so bad. I mean, I sometimes I look at it like having a strategy guide to a video game, right? You know how to beat it, but you still got to execute it. So
Oh yeah, no.
yeah, execution is everything.
That's
Yeah, it's like, for those of y'all who follow football, it's like if you know the other team is going to run the ball, like you know that that's what they're going to do, but can you stop it? Right? You got to. Execution is everything. So yeah, that's all the anime I've watched. I've tried to get into uh Gurren Lagann, if I'm pronouncing it properly.
Gurren Lagann. That's an old anime too. I've seen like a few episodes myself, but I like when people are like, they they're not really into like the newer anime, and there's nothing wrong with the new anime, but I like when
Yeah,
people are saying that they're watching these older anime like recently. It's like that's a good thing because then like it's good when people are talking about the older anime that they're
yeah,
like
yeah,
just starting to watch.
yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I only got into Gurren Lagann because of Yoko. I'd
I
seen
mean,
so many.
fair.
I mean, I had seen so many very nice looking Yoko cosplayers. I thought about doing a gender bend of her, but I gave up on it because let me preface this by saying I fully support people cosplaying characters that people have already done. I can't stand when people say, "Oh, I've done this character already. You're copying me because you did it." No, that's not a
Get the
thing.
hell out of here with that shit.
Right. Now, and I do a lot of gender bends myself, but like the person I saw someone do it already, and they're when you're doing a gender bend of something, like you're also doing your own spin on it, right? The
Hmm.
the gender bend that I saw was the exact same idea I had in my head. So that kind of killed it for me. I'm not gonna say that I will never do it, but that it killed my urge to do it, if that makes sense. Like,
No, that's completely fair, and it's not like they like heard that you were going to do it. Just some people just do it because they want to see what it's like doing it.
right, right. Yeah. So that I started watching it. I tried about 3 times to start it, and every time the first 2 times I got about 2 episodes in, and I don't know if I got bored or if I think I also made the mistake of trying to watch it too late at night. And if I'm vertical right now, if I am anything not vertical, I will fall asleep. And
It's like it has to catch your eye,
yeah,
so to
like
speak.
it could be my favorite movie in the world. I could fall asleep on Friday. I could fall asleep on Endgame. I could fall asleep on Lord of the Rings. And these are
Well, yeah,
things.
because you've watched it multiple times and you know what's going to happen.
Right, right. So a third time watching it, I'm not sure how many episodes I got, and it was at least double digits. But like I just it didn't catch me. It didn't grab me. So I just kind of gave up on it. I do want to get into, let's see, what's on my list next? Demon Slayer, Death Note. Um, I've been somewhat jumping ahead. Um, I've done a few. Um, most of my voiceover work, for those of you who don't know, I'm also a voice actor. Not full time yet, but that's the goal. Done a few audiobooks, done I have about 3 YouTube channels I do voiceovers for. One of them,
Oh, nice.
the one that I have, thank you, the one that I've gotten the least work for, like I haven't heard from this guy in like months, but um, one of them is an anime channel. So I've learned about a whole bunch of animes that I've like. I'm sitting there doing voiceovers about shows that I've never watched. I'm just basically reading a script, but I'm learning about new anime to watch. So one of them is Jujutsu Kaisen, if I'm saying that right. Y'all
Yep,
don't.
Jujutsu. Yeah, JJK.
If I don't pronounce these things right, y'all don't butcher me. Um, or no, I'm sorry. Don't come for me if I butcher the name. That's what I meant to say. That um, there's so there's two. Something really freaky happened with these two because I do a voice. So I did a voiceover for a video about these shows, and my computer must have been listening to me because now all of a sudden, then as soon as I go to Netflix, I see it's the first thing that pops up. It was like a horror version. It was like a horror one called I think Spiral or something, or it's
I think
about
I've heard.
spirals. But that popped up, and I'm like, and the fact that it was a horror based one too is what made it worse. The fact that I do the voiceover for this video about that show, and then the very next time I log into Netflix, that's the thing that pops up. That one
Yeah.
and Dan to Dan, if I'm saying that right too.
Dan to Dan, yeah, same. Yeah, I've watched like one episode of that myself. I'm just like, I'll watch this eventually. I feel like it's hard with all this anime popping out. It's hard to like
Yeah,
keep on track of and like trying to get into it. And then it's like you see this other anime. It's like, oh, I gotta watch this anime. Oh no, this. It's like, and then it's like, oh wait, oh yeah, there's this anime I need to finish.
yeah. I think I'm gonna have to watch Spy Family too because
Oh no, Spy Family. I've watched like I think 3 episodes and it's really good.
nice, nice. I think I would have eventually gotten to it anyway, but as I was finishing up My Hero, I again watching it too late, fell asleep on the last 2 episodes, so I had to go back and rewatch them. But
Mm.
as I fall asleep those last 2 episodes, it automatically played because I'm watching it on Hulu, I think. So
Yeah, it's on Hulu. Yeah.
Spy Family started playing automatically after that. So I think I technically do I remember any of it? No, but I'm about 3 to 5 episodes in on Spy Family. But my eyes were closed when it was playing. Um so yeah, I mean it's always intrigued me, of course, all the your is that her name? The mom?
Your Forger, Lloyd, and Anya.
Yeah, of course, all the beautiful looking your cosplayers, caught my attention. Anyway, um so yeah, so that's on the list too. So Spy Family, Jujutsu Kaisen, Dan to Dan, eh, Demon Slayer, Death Note. So
Nice,
somewhere at some point, I'm gonna get to all of those.
nice. Now on to movies. Like, have you watched any new movies that have come out like in the past year and recent that you were waiting for to watch?
Let me see. That's a hard one. I did see Captain America: Brave New World recently. I mean, a couple of months ago. I mean, I saw it. I think in the first week or so. It was good. Like it wasn't. It didn't blow me away. It wasn't one of those like everybody's like crapping on Marvel movies now. It wasn't a letdown. I liked it. Um, I'm looking for. Actually, I think I saw when I turned my TV on last night. I saw on my because it's a Fire TV, so like all the Fire advertisements come up, and it was weird that it says it's out now on to buy and on Amazon Prime, and I'm like, why Amazon? Like you think it'd be out on Disney Plus, but
I That I think a reason why it's like on Amazon is more of a rental thing, a rent or buy type
Okay,
of thing, and
okay, that
then
makes
I think then Disney will like, hey, we have the rights to this now. You guys can watch it here.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it was good. It was I would say it was better than it wasn't better than Winter Soldier, but it was good. Um what else? Of course, saw Moana 2 with my daughter. That was dope. Um Sonic.
I hope your daughter enjoyed Moana
Oh yeah.
too.
Oh, she did. She did. She loved it. There's
Nice.
took her and her brother to see Sonic 3. So that one was good. That was his first movie. Um so my oldest her first movie was in first movie in the theaters rather. Her first one was Encanto. His was Sonic 3.
Nice.
So she got invited to a birthday party this Saturday, and apparently the parents have rented out the whole theater for all their friends. So we're going to see Minecraft Saturday.
Just
Uh,
don't do what those teenagers have done during that one scene where they're throwing popcorn everywhere.
Noted. Okay. Okay.
It's a thing on TikTok of Minecraft movie where people recording during a scene and they're throwing popcorn and stuff all over the movie theater.
Yeah. Nah.
And what's
We
sad
ain't
is
doing that.
there's a
We ain't
bunch
doing
of
that.
like teenagers and adults that are doing it. Like class is just just common courtesy is just thrown out the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That thing.
I've heard good things about the Minecraft movie. It did surprisingly well at the box office compared to its budget.
Hmm. Nice. Nice. Yeah. I think my daughter's actually been playing it. She has a Chromebook from school, so like she's somehow or another they got access to Minecraft on there, so she's just been building things left and right. I never really got into Minecraft myself, but like from what I hear, I love that it's just an open. I don't know if I don't know what the right term for it is, but it's a game that doesn't really have like a specific end goal. You just go in and build shit.
I mean, there kind of is an end goal. It's where you have to build an Ender portal and defeat the Ender dragon.
Oh,
But
okay,
even after that, you can still just roam around and have fun. It's just a cozy game to play with your friends. You can build
yeah.
stuff and mine gold and just pretty much have fun and build whatever build pretty much whatever you want. I mean,
I think she's taken after me because like I'll watch long plays of games that I've never gotten a chance to play, or long plays of games that I don't have a console for and I've played before but can't play them now. So anytime I let the kids watch anything on their own, if I come back in the living room, they're watching someone else playing Minecraft. So I'm like, I can't even be mad at it because I do the same thing. I do the same thing. I watch somebody else play something that I can't play.
it's like watching football basically or sports.
That you know what? That is a darn good analogy.
I mean, from people who saying, it's like, why are you watching a game? Why like I've seen it was a meme I said. So it's like this guy yelling at his friends, like, "Why are you watching gameplay?" And the next panel guy goes into his room and watching sports. Like it's the same. I hate to say it,
Yeah,
it's the same thing. It's
it's the
like,
same thing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, as somebody who likes both, it's like there's that saying like they people who make fun of people who make not make who play I'm mixing Final Fantasy with
oh,
Fan
fantasy football.
Alpha was not cooperating. Um, they'll say, "Oh, fantasy football is just Dungeons and Dragons for sports," and I'm like, as somebody, I mean, I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I play role playing games, and I'm like, as somebody who likes both, I'm like, and like, is that supposed to be an insult? I'm pretty sure there's sports fans who would take it as an insult, but I'm like, the fact that you meant it as an insult, I'm like, stop with that because like
And
I'll
no,
defend.
that's completely fair.
Yeah, like yes, some of us geeks got bullied and tormented by jocks. But I'm like, don't put that on all jocks. Like that's not every
Mm-mm.
sports fan.
No, and there are some jocks that are nerds. Like they're into like the kind of stuff, and like you said with like watching long game playthroughs, it's usually for like a comfort thing, or it's like you want to get an idea of what the game is like,
Yeah,
just in case you eventually want to play it. I mean, there's a game that's strictly out for Game Pass right now, and I'm looking forward to playing it myself because I've heard. I ignore the negatives, and it looks like a fun game. It's called South of Midnight.
mm. Yeah. I
It's
just heard of that, and I hate that it's not on.
PlayStation, yeah.
Right, it's only on Xbox.
Yeah, that's like it's I'm hoping eventually they'll like put it on PlayStation because that game looks fun from what I've seen, and I'm like I want to play it myself.
Yeah, I had the same thing happen with I did I think 2 years ago, coming up on 2 years ago, I did a voice for a game called Deepest Trench, and again, same thing. It's on Xbox and on I think Steam on
It's called
PC.
Deepest. It's called Deepest Trench.
Yeah, Deepest Trench. I think
I'll have to I'll have to look that up now.
yeah, it's a very in like independent type game. I think Favorite Game Studios is the studio who did it. Like,
I love independent studios. Like yeah, it takes a lot longer, but they definitely put the love and work into those games.
yeah, and it was a very like it let me know right off the bat just how where the good money was going to come from with voiceover because like that was only the third job I'd ever got, right? And right before I got signed off for my first audiobook, right? And there are some people who make bank with audiobooks, right? But when you first start
Hmm.
out, the return on investment is horrible. The the audiobook that I did, it put several hours into it, and I might have got. I'm trying to remember the price. I'll say this: I did not even spend a whole hour on my lines for Deepest Trench, and I got more than I got. I think at least a good $100 or so more than what I got for that audiobook, and I spent several hours on that, maybe double, I think, because you get
Yeah,
paid
no,
per you get paid for you get paid per finished hour, not for how many hours you put into it, but for how many hours it ends up being.
no. I
So
mean, I wouldn't know. I've never done voices for audiobooks or video games. I had like three lines one time for like an animated short that
yeah,
someone was looking for voice actors for, and like I wasn't like really concerned about the pay. Like I mean, the pay was nice.
yeah,
I'll admit that, but like I more so did it just because like it was an opportunity to lend my voice. But I'm glad to hear that you've been like doing indie video games and doing audiobooks.
yeah, man. Thank you. I'm just hoping that at some point in the next year or so that it like just it that it'll blow up the way I want it to. Like I'm not quite tired of IT yet, but I feel myself getting there.
Oh,
So I
I
would
mean,
love.
if you find like an agent, I know they usually will help you find voice roles, and I also know like I mean, especially nowadays, like if you go on like Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, someone's always posting something about looking for voice actors.
Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely going to look into getting the agent soon. That and I'm just right now trying to figure out all the different ways I can market myself because like one thing that hits you hard in the beginning is no, just the fact that people aren't going to come to you. People aren't going to be knocking your door down trying to get you
You
to.
got to come to them.
You got to put yourself out there.
Something
So
I've learned by doing content creating is like I got to go to them. I got to hit them
yeah,
up for an interview. I got to hit them up about if they want like media or press done for their event,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
then eventually you know they'll come to you. But it's still even when they come to you, it still doesn't hurt to come go to them either.
right, right. So yeah, I mean, I know people who've been doing it for a lot longer than me. Like they get to the point where like new clients and former clients like to just send them work. Like they'll wake up and have a whole bunch of stuff in their inbox to do. So you can get there eventually, but you got to put in the work to get there. And that's the part. That's where I'm at now. Like trying to just yeah, getting the work is the hard part. Like the marketing and all of that is just as big a part as the training, honing your skills, having the right equipment and all of that. So yeah, it's a the the allure of being able to like not be tied to a 9 to 5 and going on vacation when you want and all that kind of stuff. That's the appealing part. But yeah, this it's hard work getting there.
Oh, I imagine it is. Um, Now that we kind of talked about it, what about video games? What video games have you been playing lately?
Ooh, okay, just in the past month or so, um, beat Final Fantasy VII remake. No,
Oh,
not remake.
oh,
Sorry, rebirth. Rebirth. Yeah,
oh yeah, yeah. There's remake, and then there's interlude where you get to play as Yuffie, which is
right.
takes which roughly takes around the same place around the time of the events of remake. And then you
Yeah,
got Rebirth, which came out I think came out
last
last
year. Yeah,
year, and I want to
right.
get a PS5 so bad because I
That-
played remake for the PS4 before they switched over, and like we're
right.
gonna skip all the new ones on PS5 now.
Yeah, same. And I put off getting a PS5 for so long because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Tekken 8 were the only games that I really felt like I was looking forward to that were PS5 exclusive. So I was like, all right, I'll just wait until the price drops some more. Why is PS5 the only console that has never most consoles, like even going back to like when Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo came out, like it's one price when it first comes out. About a year later, right, like right before the next Christmas, there's like a significant drop. Like I feel like every console has done that except PS5. Like there's not like it might have dropped a little bit, but like
And
that price
PS5
stayed
has
up.
been out since like 2020
Yeah, like
or
right before the
2021,
pandemic, right?
2020.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's just inflation. And but I remember when consoles would like when the like when the Xbox One dropped, it was like 400 something, and then like a few months or so, or it dropped like by like a couple, like I think 100 or like 50 or $100 or so.
yeah,
But and then you got the PS5 Pro, and it's just I've seen it. I don't see no significance to it.
right.
Just a more expensive console, and then the attachment, and it's just
Yeah, so I finally got one at the beginning of this year. Finally got one because I was
nice.
like I've been spoiler dodging with Final Fantasy Rebirth for like almost a year. So I think about a month before the year mark came, I finally got it. So I
Nice.
grinded it out and like just spent like every night a couple of hours playing it, probably a few hours too long, a few nights playing it. And it was great. I won't spoil the changes for you, but it was great. Like
Oh,
um,
I've seen gameplay for it, and I know people are can't wait for the part three, and I'm given the time once the final part comes out, I'm sure they're gonna do like this whole like collection thing where you have all the games
yeah,
and like a thing like what they did recently with The Last of Us, how they came out with the collections of like how they came out with the part one and part two bundle now
yeah,
recently.
yeah. So that got Tekken 8, got I have but haven't really played Cyberpunk. I'll get into it eventually, but I think playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth kind of it was a love and hate thing because like, do I love the game? Yes. Do I love pretty much everything about the game? Yes. Was it worth playing? Yes. Did I love getting wrapped up in the story again? Yes. Also, but when I beat it, I was like, I get my nights back because I felt like that was all I was doing for a while. Like, okay, got off work, dinner, bedtime with the kids. voice work, and then downstairs playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. So like I feel like that was all I was doing for a long time. And I grinded it out because I was just like, you know what? I could take breaks. I could take a break every other day, but I also don't want to like draw this out. So I was like, let me just knock it out and be done with it. So
It's one of those things. It's like watching a new show. It's like,
yeah,
okay, all right, one more episode, one more episode, one more episode, one more episode.
exactly,
Wait,
exactly.
this is the last episode. All right, let's just do it and be done with
Yeah, I was like, I don't. If I draw this out, it's just going to be a distraction.
Oh yeah, no,
So
I don't blame you.
let me knock this out. So got done with that. So everything else I just kind of dabble in every now and then. I'm kind of back to my mode of. I remember before we got like a Fire Stick on our back when we still just had one TV. Before we got a Fire Stick, I would always be watching YouTube on my PS. I think a 3 or 4 at a time. I was using my console more for watching movies and YouTube than for actual gaming. Like,
I think that's what a lot of people do instead of buying like the smart TV or the Fire Stick. They just use their console because it has almost pretty much everything on it.
yeah, yeah. So that Tekken 8, I'm still 5 years later playing Streets of Rage 4 like it just came out. Like the replayability on that is insane. I was a little sad when I didn't realize that I wasn't taking the right steps to transfer my data over. So like I lost all the data on my even though the game transferred over, I lost all the data on my on Streets of Rage 4. So I'm having to go back and get all my old records and everything, having to re-earn all the characters and all of that. So I mean it wasn't horrible. It was a little disappointing, but I got over it very quickly. Um,
No, that's completely understandable.
what what else have I started playing? Got Sonic Origins for PS5 because I had Sega Classics on my PS4, which had Sonic 1, 2, and Sonic Spinball. Had a whole bunch of old Sega games, the Shinobi games, all the Streets of Rage games,
Ooh.
all of that. But I didn't realize until after I got the PS5 that it wasn't on PS5. So I'm like, okay, the kids are into Sonic now. How can they play Sonic? So got Sonic Origins, which has Sonic 1, 2, 3. It's weird. For Sonic 3, it's Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And what's annoying me right now is the fact that you can't just play Sonic and Knuckles on that. You have to play all the way through Sonic 3 to play Sonic and Knuckles. And there's no stage select. So you can't just I thought that once you beat Sonic 3 that you could just jump to Sonic and Knuckles. Nah, you gotta I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. I don't
It's
know.
a licensing thing. They figured, well, instead of releasing it individually, let's just release it in a pack. And I have noticed that lately with like a lot of older games. Everyone's wanting, we want these old games, we want these older games. Like, okay, but it's a licensing thing. It's like it's not
Yeah,
up to the console company. It's up to the studio that made the game. It's like, do we want to, give them the IP to have this game, and how much are we going to want them to charge people and everything?
yeah. Yeah, licensing is a weird thing. I saw it with a lot of Transformers toys, like because I would notice certain characters when they released a new figure. Some characters just had the name, and then Jazz, for instance, I would see a new Jazz toy, and instead of saying Jazz, it would say Autobot Jazz, and I'm like, why is it Autobot Jazz with just this one
Licensing,
character? And
licensing,
yeah, like
copyright.
yeah, I didn't understand it at the time, but I get it now. They lost the copyright for it or lost the licensing for it rather.
It's confusing as hell. That's all I have to say. Um, Speaking of Transformers, reading any comics lately,
I've
or
not
reading any good books?
I know about the new Transformers comics, but um I haven't I haven't gotten a chance to read them yet. I kind of gave up. Uh, I gave up collecting comics for a while. I think when I first got married, I was like, okay, I don't have. Good thing I have a budget now. I didn't keep a budget in my bachelor, so I kept the bills paid and I bought what I wanted to buy, and that was it. Um, so a little bit more responsible now, but that meant having to cut back on some things. So like I had to pick one hobby. I mean, this was not like a mandate from the wife or anything. It was just like, okay, I only have so much spending money. Where do I want to put this towards? And it ended up being cosplay at the time. So eventually I did get back into getting more comics, but it was less getting more new comics and more going back and getting old ones. So basically everything over my shoulder here, I got I went back and basically got all the X-Men comics from um, Giant Size X-Men all through where I came in at. I came in maybe about a year before the animated series came out. So I want to say early 90s, right? I think I came in right when, the whole X-Men Blue and Gold team kicked off. So I went back and like I've read about things, like I spent way too many hours on uncannyxmen.net. I've gone through and like read Wikipedia pages or X-Men wiki pages about everything. So all those things I know about but never read them myself. Of course, I have a whole bunch of old early 90s X-Men and Marvel trading cards and stuff too. So there's things I know about. Like I just recently read Inferno all the way through a couple of years ago. So like I've always known Inferno happened. I've always known that this thing happened and that thing happened, but being able to read the comics myself was a treat. So, but yeah, I had spent a whole lot of time collecting the old stuff. New stuff, I kind of got back into new X-Men comics with the whole Krakoa era and everything like that, but I was always behind. So I'm as far as reading, I'm barely past the first Hellfire Gala. No, no, no. I'm sorry. I think I left off at Trial of Magneto. I think who was it? His now not daughter, Scarlet Witch. I think she had died. Um, yeah, that's where I was at. That's where I left off at. Now I knew about the third Hellfire, tongue tied, the third Hellfire Gala, where they announced a new X-Men team, and then Nimrod came and killed everybody. Sorry, spoiler alert for those of you who are more than a year behind on X-Men, like I am. um, so I bought that one issue there and read it. But I mean, I've kept up with what's going on. Like I might not have read the issues, but like through various podcasts and YouTube channels, like I kind of had my ears somewhat to the ground as far as what's been happening, but I haven't been able to read it. So at some point, I'm gonna go and get the like if there's like a trade paperback or like a just a all the whole series like released at once, like everything from Krakoa. And I'll probably just kind of hit it sparsely here and there as far as the rest of the new stuff. But other than that, like nothing new with comics. But yeah,
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
it's just a little. I would I love to, yes, but just I don't have the disposable income to keep up with it like I want to.
I mean, it can be time consuming too.
Yeah, yeah. Like when it comes to reading books, like I do like reading books, but it's like you said, time consuming. Like I'm very much into even before doing audiobooks myself. I've gotten into listening to them because like I used to commute to work so I could listen to them on the train, to and from work and everything. Oh, something new. Um, I blame my wife for this. I started reading, what's the word for it? Romanticy. Um, so my wife got into reading the Court of Thorns and Roses series.
I've heard I've been hearing a lot about them lately. I'm not really familiar with it myself, but I know it's like a like you said, romantasy book,
Yeah,
and I've heard like so much. I've never personally read it, but I've heard so much about it.
yeah. So I think she got into it like summer of last year, and then she told me that there were like two characters that reminded her of me, which I was like, oh. And then when she told me about who these characters were and why they reminded her of me, I was like, oh, okay. Like it was I took it as high praise basically. So she has convinced me to cosplay as Risan from the Akatar series. Um, and now she's surprised at how deeply I've gotten into it. I'm like, girl, you created this monster. You started,
You made me. You. I made you. You made.
right?
You
So
made me.
she actually had me um she had me start on the second book, just because Rhysand is featured more prominently in that one. Like he's in the first one, but just not as much. So I kind of know what happens in the first one, but I haven't read it basically. Like I've read summaries of it. I've, there's a YouTube channel who does a good thorough, but also very hilarious and entertaining review of the first book and the second book. So so I started on the second one. I made it through the third. As soon as my credits kick back in for Audible, I'll start the fourth one. I think it's a quarter
Nice.
of it's always a quarter of something. Um, uh, I know the ones that I've read. The first one's a Court of Thorns and Roses. Then there's a Court of Mist and Fury. Then there's a Court of Wings and Ruin. I think that's the third one. Yeah, that's the one I just finished. Um, I can't remember the name of the next one, but that's the next one I'll be reading there. So
Nice.
yeah, so it started out with me reading just for research purposes for the character. Because this will be my first time like cosplaying a character that doesn't have like an official. Maybe he does, because like if I go and Google images of him, like stuff will come up, but I'm not sure what's fan art and what's the official.
Oh yeah, no, it's hard to, especially when like they're given a little description, but
Yeah,
then you
yeah,
start looking at the character. You kind of see art, but like you said, it's hard. Is it fan art? Is it art? Like is it real art? And you kind of like it's kind of a guessing game when it comes to characters who don't have like an official picture or drawing of them
yeah, yeah.
made by the creator. So
And it's
completely understandable.
it's so funny going back now and like now that I know who these characters are and going back and seeing how many cosplays I've seen of them and not knowing that I've seen them. Like there was a couple dressed as Risan and Farah that I saw at Dragon Con. Didn't know who the characters were at the time, and now that I know who they are, and I go back I'm like, wait a minute, I've taken a picture of characters of this before, and I have friends who have cosplayed from that series, and I've seen those cosplays. Didn't know at the time what they were, and now I'm like, oh, that's what that was. I think the same thing happened with when I first started getting into My Hero. Like I'd seen them, and I'm like, somewhat familiar with a few of the characters, but now that I've seen it, and I go back, I'm like, oh, that person was was this character at this time, and this person was that character at that time. So it's excuse me, it's weird in a good way, retroactively realizing that you've seen cosplays of these characters.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, it is crazy how like these characters get released right away, or even like a month before you know it's released. People, like you said, people are cosplaying, which
Yeah.
finally brings me to my last one.
Uh-huh.
Conventions. What conventions have you been to recently in the past year and this year?
I'm on a little bit of a drought with that. Like I think last year I only went to MomoCon and Dragon Con. I meant to do, let's see, why did I not go to, okay, I missed BlurredCon last year. The years that I gone before, I had other side thing, my other um, hobby slash side hustle slash addiction. I teach and dance salsa and bachata. So what I started doing the past few years, both at MomoCon and BlurredCon, was if you do a panel, you get a free pass, right? For free weekend pass. So I
Oh yeah, no.
did a panel teaching salsa and bachata classes there. So I've been doing that at MomoCon and BlurredCon, but I was used to just being an automatic shoe in at both of those cons. Like all I got to do is submit, and I know I'm going to get in. It worked for MomoCon, not the same for BlurredCon, and I was like, okay, I still might go. But then my roommate situation kind of fell apart. Like once it kind of got a couple of months close to the con, I wasn't getting in contact with all my roommates, and I just didn't have it financially at the time to be able to um, swing it with less than four people in the room. So I was just like, yeah, it's not happening this year. Like a couple of years ago, there was a time where like I could have just done the whole room by myself, but it just wasn't in the cards that last year. So that didn't happen. Um, I think scheduling kept me from going to DreamHack Atlanta and Anime Weekend Atlanta.
Ooh.
Yeah, and Anime Weekend Atlanta, that's been such a weird thing because like when I first started going for like when I first started going, it was in one location in kind of northwest, technically not in Atlanta, but we say Atlanta because nobody's gonna know what we mean when we say Cobb County or Marietta, Smyrna, or whatever. Um, so
All
it
right.
it used to be in that area, but later in the same month as Dragon Con. So it kind of served as your I'm still recovering from Dragon Con, but I still need my con cosplay fix kind of con, right? It was very
All
chill, relaxing atmosphere. Like there's this big courtyard in front of the this big long courtyard in front of the hotel where people just hang out, do photo shoots at whatever. This is the only con that I would ever lobby con at because I never go into dealers' rooms and I can get all I need just hanging out in the courtyard and maybe hopping into the lobby for like 15 minutes at a time. So I basically just would not buy a. I'm not promoting doing this, y'all, but that's the only con I ever do that at, just because I'm like, I get everything I need outside the con. Anyway, so it used to be towards the end of September, but they started, from what I hear, it had something to do with their contract with the venue. So had they not moved it to October, it would have slowly crept up to being like the weekend after Dragon Con or the weekend of Dragon Con, and that's too close for people. So then
Oh
they
yeah,
moved
no.
it to they moved it to Halloween weekend, which threw a monkey wrench in my plans because by that time, you know, both kids were here. So now we're doing family Halloween stuff with some of our other married with kids friends. So now I'm having a conflict between doing Halloween stuff with the kids and being at Anime Week in Atlanta. And then they move. Not only did they move it, it's now not only did they move dates, it's now at a different venue. Now it's at the same venue as MomoCon, but in December.
I've I've noticed a lot of and it's like not an intentional thing, but like there's one con going on, and then like you want to go to the other con, but it's like it kind of overlaps. Like as soon as that
Yeah,
one con's done, it's like, oh hey, here's the next one. And like I've always said, like on Cosplay Con Talk, I give props to those who can do those multiple cons.
yeah. That's. I think I might average like three a year. I don't know what
Yeah,
everybody
three to
else.
four.
Yeah,
Three to four, 2 to 4 is my limit because work and everything else. So again,
right,
I give
right.
props to anyone who can like have the time to do all this fun stuff and still being able to manage to
Yeah,
have
I
money
wish.
for their other stuff.
Yeah, and the only reason I do Dragon Con every year is because it's my home con. Like even when I even in the years where I wasn't in on a hotel room with someone, like I would drive there, I would go, I would still change costumes, but I change in my car. I would I would go recharge literally and figuratively. Like I would recharge my phone or recharge me. I'd sit in the car. Like I don't care. I'm running up gas, but I got my AC on in the car, and I'm just napping in the car, recharging my phone. Go back out there. Yeah, the only reason I go every year is because it's my home con. Like otherwise it's expensive. Like the hotel's expensive. You got the dang the hotel Hunger Games as they call them, because like you can't just book a hotel room. Like you gotta they they the hotel rooms go on sale like a couple of months after the con, and like you gotta be online at the right time. You gotta sign in, hope your connection
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
drop, hope the
those
server
fun
doesn't crash.
those con sponsored hotels.
Yeah,
Those those con sponsored hotels go out real quick, whether it be for the guests, the artists,
yeah,
attendees, because they want to be close by so they can just walk to the con,
yeah.
and then it's just like the whole that's a whole that's a whole mess in
Yeah, it's
itself.
there's some people who have been trying for years, like over a decade, to get a hotel, get a room at one of the host hotels at Dragon Con and still haven't gotten in. That's how bad it is.
Well, I mean, Dragon Con itself is it's probably one of, if not one of the, it's up there with those other big cons for
Yeah,
it's pretty much a party con.
yeah. That's really what it is. Like it's a big ass costume party. Like I always
It's
describe it
crazy.
as 4 days. Some say five because some people go on Monday. Like Monday's I'm going home and crashing out. The well, not the current definition of crashing out. Apparently, it's now meaning to like spaz out and rage out on somebody. But I'm going home to
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, I've heard that. Like crash out, like you're done for the day. You just want to lay down and not do a damn
crash.
thing.
Yeah. So yeah, it's 4 days of 24/7 beautiful, chaotic, geeky ratchetness. That's what Dragon Con is. And I say that
Love
in
it.
the best way possible.
Oh shit. I mean that look that hearing that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Hearing it be used that way.
But yeah, I think that's all that's on my radar for this year, just due to funds and scheduling. That's all I got. So MomoCon end of next month, Dragon Con Labor Day weekend, hopefully DreamHack and Anime Week in Atlanta. But those are the two definites so far.
I've heard good things about DreamHack and I've heard good things about BlurCon. I every now and again I follow BlurCon on Instagram and every now and again I'll see something posted by them. It's like I would love to go to this. This looks fun.
Yeah, yeah. It's a big geeky family reunion. I think the vibe is going to be different now because they've moved it to early March. I think because of um, I think scheduling with the venue, and because I think there was DreamCon. DreamCon was like not back to back, but close enough to where it caused a conflict. So they moved BlurCon to early March, which for me is a conflict because there's a salsa bachata festival here in Atlanta on the same weekend, and also but then DreamCon moved, so now DreamCon is the weekend after MomoCon.
Oh jeez,
So it's all these moving parts and shit. So
that just sounds like a nightmare, man.
yeah, I think I wanted to do um what was it Anaheim WonderCon this year, but yeah, the funds wasn't funding, so maybe next year.
It's always the fun, man.
Yeah,
It creeps up on you.
I got con plans for, I mean, cosplay plans for days, cos plans for days. I'm never going to run out of ideas. It's just, do I have the storage space for it? Do I have the money for it? Do I have the time for it? I If I could show you my
it's
picture
always
board,
it's always time and money is the thing,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
know whether it's like can like when I was like always told like if I can like when people say oh if I can afford it, it's not more so about money if they can afford it, is if they can afford the time off to go and then still not and then not
yeah,
have to worry about losing on their paycheck money or and they can like pay their stuff on time, which I completely understand.
Yeah, like where
I
y'all get
guess
this
now to
PTO
finish
from?
this, shit, I wish I got more. I wish I got better PTO.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
besides the point. Um, so last but not least, any current movies, video games, stuff you're looking forward to this year
Let's see.
doing?
Looking forward to Thunderbolts at the I think the beginning of next month.
Oh,
Um,
that's right. Yeah.
let's see. Any other movies? I want to see Sinners. I heard that was good. The Ryan
Oh,
Coogler and
comes out. I think this that comes out this month. I've seen trailers and it looks really good.
yeah, yeah.
Going to be interesting seeing Michael B. Jordan play as playing twin brothers.
Right, right. That's gonna be interesting. Like some on some a heart. I don't want to compare it to Parent Trap. The only similarity is one person playing two twins. But yeah, um, so that I think that's it for movies. It's not really a whole lot that I'm really looking out for. I'm just waiting until I'm just ready for the X-Men to show up in the MCU.
Oh, I
That's
mean, we
all.
got that little we got that sneak peek in what was it? I think um, Miss Marvel. I think it was with
Yeah,
Beast
yeah.
showing up at the end, and then we see Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, where we got that sneak peek of Patrick Stewart playing as
Right, right.
90s um, for Charles Xavier, which I know a lot of people were excited to see, me included. Was that so happy to see that the economy is his big giant
Yeah,
wheelchair
yeah.
thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I just been ever since the first Avengers movie came out. Back then, I wasn't aware of the whole movie rights and this is why the X Men aren't showing up in the MCU, all that kind of stuff.
IP movie.
Yeah,
It all has to do with like getting the licensing agreement, the IP. It's a bunch of yeah, but then it, it's just like with the Spider-Man thing. You know how people are on the are on the fence of the whole Sony verse, just
yeah,
releasing you know with Spider-Man villain after Spider-Man villain, and not have all these villain origin movies to feel bad for the
exactly.
villain type thing.
Yeah, yeah. Like so, I mean, I get it now, but back then I didn't understand it. So, but like when the first Avengers movie came out, I left that theater thinking, one, I need this to be on Blu-ray tomorrow so I can watch it again. And then also, why weren't my X-Men this good? Like I'm like, this is how good the first, as iconic as that movie is, as good as it was for its time, and as groundbreaking as it was for no shade to Blade, because Blade was it. But as far as like big,
I mean, we're never gonna see. We're never gonna see
yeah,
that Blade
right, right,
movie with
yeah,
what's his name? I can't remember his name. I think it's Chico
Mahershala
or
Ali,
something.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll see it. We'll be seeing him in the new Jurassic World movie coming out in
yeah, yeah.
July.
That's not
But
okay.
like I don't think because also Scarlett Johansson's gonna be in that movie too.
Right, right. Okay. Yeah,
But like, it's safe
that's
to
this
say we're
year,
never gonna
right?
see that. We're never gonna see that Blade movie, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, ever since that first Avengers movie, I've been waiting for X-Men to be done right. There's some people who feel like we don't need another X-Men series, and I respect that. Like I get it, but just as someone who watched those first few movies and being like, this is good, but also why did y'all mess this up? Like I've
Oh
been waiting
yeah,
for
the Days of Futures Past, and
it.
I'm kind of glad to be honest that they're rebooting the X Men because after oh god, what was it? The one where Mystique dies, I think was like the final one.
Yeah, that second time trying to do Phoenix.
Yeah, the I call it the the alternate universe X Men.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
like
Wolverine goes back in time. Like when Wolverine changed the past, I feel like the timelines got split. So we had original X Men trilogy where we got
yeah,
Logan, and then we got that split universe where you know we're introduced to all these other characters, and that just kind of like I feel like Days of Futures Past just split the timelines
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
sense.
yeah, man. Just as long as they do it, if they do it any amount of percent better than Fox did, I'll be all right.
Mm. We'll see. I mean, Disney owns Fox now, so I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
they did great with. I mean, they did good. They did a good job with Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine. I will say that seeing the iconic yellow suit was so awesome to see.
indeed, indeed.
um, but yeah, no. I think that should do it. Again, Myron, thanks for coming on and basically giving us an update on how things been. You know, I'm glad to hear you got a new place. I'm glad you have your own your own room to put all your stuff up and everything.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
definitely need to have you come back on for another podcast or something in
I'm
the
ready, man.
future
Whenever, whenever,
once I
whenever.
get things when I do things to that. Oh yeah, as always, where can people find you on social media to stay up to date with your cosplay stuff, your dancing stuff, your voice acting stuff, and just all that fun stuff that we always talk about on here?
Gotcha. Social media, everywhere but Snapchat. You can find me at Smoove Cosplaya. It's right there. I think I'm pointing to the right spot. So at Smoove Cosplaya with no
Mm,
space in there,
yeah, I'm
somewhere,
gonna be done
somewhere in there. I feel like those old Looney Tunes cartoons were like, I was someone's trying to point like all this arrow signs start pointing everywhere. Anyway,
some direction.
yeah, that might be too old for some folks. Sorry if that went over some of y'all's heads. Y'all see all these grays right here. Anyway, so yeah, Smooth Cosplayer, everywhere, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. I'm not gonna call it X. Um, all of those places. You can also find me my voice acting stuff at M Abernathy VO. Um, I'll send you the last name. I'm used to spelling it out when I leave voicemails, but yeah, um, M Abernathy VO on Instagram as well and on YouTube. So yeah, that's me everywhere.
Well, I think that should do it again, Myron. Thank you for coming on again. I can't wait to see and hear all the stuff that you'll be doing this year. I'll definitely need to have you come back on again for another episode of something. Like I said, I need to like figure out what I'm doing. But again, man, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem, man.
Always a
Thank
pleasure
you.
having you
It's
on, man.
same, man. It's always a good time with you, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course. And as always, I'm Wayne the Unknown. Until next time, thank you for listening, and as always, thank you for watching.